So this is another snippet out of my Patreon supported Q&A. The Q&A is over an hour long and is really for Patreons only. And the questions are from Patreons and the overall content is for Patreons. It's a little perk for supporting the channel and being part of the community. But this topic is one that shouldn't be controversial, especially amongst people who work with firearms or in firearms content creation. But strangely, we found over the last many years now that this is a very controversial take. And it speaks to the hypocrisy that exists within the system in general. Either you are for human liberation and human rights or you're not. And it is, for me at least, as simple and as clear cut as that. So in this question, we see someone asking about 2A for all and other quote unquote influencers who support these rights for everyone, not just a select few. I answer this quite directly and don't mince words. And again, if you're interested in being part of the conversation, patreon.com/InRangeTV. As an American and believing in what the ideals of what America should be rather than what it actually is, I think this is completely in line with human liberation and human rights in general. Thanks for watching. Of all the voices in the firearms community, you are the only one which I am aware that extends the philosophy of rights to be holistic in nature, inclusive, instead of exclusive. I appreciate what you maintain your principles and put your money where your mouth is. Thank you. It's been quite an adventure, but I appreciate you. What is something that influenced you to formulate your current understanding? And two, are there any others in the firearms community that have a similar progressive philosophy to which you would like to give a shout out? What what influenced me to have that belief system? I honestly don't know. I've always kind of had that in my DNA. It's weird when you hear Americans talk about the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Rights. And I'm like, and then some of them will acknowledge that the Bill of Rights just acknowledges something that should have been there anyway. I consider that an intrinsic part of the human identity and existence, that those Bill of Rights, while recognized, maybe not as well as they should be in the American Constitution, but it's definitely not as much as they should be in American daily life, are not providing a right. They're acknowledging an existing basic right, like gravity hurts and water is wet. Humans should have the right to self-defense, and there shouldn't be a monopoly of violence anywhere, regardless of what nation, state, or artificial line was drawn around your birthplace, anywhere in the world. And so those rights, the right to speech, the right to happiness, the right to pursue your religion, or lack thereof as you see fit, amongst others, are just recognized and are inherent, should be inherent to the human condition. Now, I speak to the United States and America because I live here in Arizona. But that doesn't mean I don't believe that those rights shouldn't be there for anyone that walks, breathes, anything. That should be an inherent human existence. And so anything that steps on that, regardless of its origin, I don't care if it's corporate or religious or government, is a problem. And so I've always had a problem. Maybe it comes back to my old computer hacking day stuff. I admit it, I have a problem with authority, absolutely. That doesn't mean that authority shouldn't exist sometimes. It should. There are times and places where leaders need to exist, but at the same time, everyone should be a leader. Something to ponder. Yeah, I've always felt that way. I can't think of a time I didn't. It's only gotten stronger as things progress or regress in our society and politics. It makes that call even louder. And so, yeah, I'm more dedicated to it than ever because the more they push, the more we got to push back. Are there others in the community that have similar progressive philosophies you'd like to give a shout out to? Well, I mean, there's the obvious person, my friend, who I've become friends with because of this work, Tactical Girlfriend. She has somewhat stopped making videos on YouTube, but she's still active online and doing some stuff. Maybe a video will come out from her someday, who knows. There are other places that promote these calls, like the Liberal Gun Club, the SRA, of course. But online on the video space. So firearms community and video space. I'm not sure which is tough, man. There's a lot of organizations that are doing good work. Operation Blazing Sword, like places like. But I'm thinking about, like, when I think of community, I think about places like influencers and stuff. And it's awful that I have to sit here and think. I'm like, can I even think of another one? I mean, there are people that are in the community that aren't necessarily firearms content creator. Deviant Olaf, my friend. There are people that are definitely presenting neutral. They don't speak to it at all. Which is something, which, believe it or not, is a rare and hard thing to ask for in this space. Just being neutral and not being shitty is like a low bar to cross, and not too many cross it. I mean, there are some, but you're talking about specifically that are similar in the philosophy versus just neutral. I know Queer Armor has spoken out a lot and is doing work in that regard. No, I can't think of another one. If I'm missing someone, I apologize. I see a lot of people that say this person and that person is, and then I go look at their stuff and I'm like, where is it? I don't see it. Because in the space we're in now, unless you flat out say it, you're not it. You have to be out. And again, reference question earlier. Are there people that can't? Yes. Would I ask them to do it? No. They shouldn't. But like, if you're like me, a lot of gun tubers, look, white guy, financially secure, blah, blah. Unless you say it, I don't know it. Now, I'm not going to accuse you of something just because you're not saying it. But I'm going to assume. Because in the space we're in, if you're not saying it, I think you're wasting something that is on you as a responsibility in the current zeitgeist to do something. And to do something as simple as say, I'm for 2A for all, just that alone is such a simple ask. And I have people now online, other influencers, that hate me because I pushed them to even think or even say that. I'm like, wait a minute, I hear you, but will you just say 2A for all? And they turn that into, you're a purity testing me. No, I'm not. I'm not purity testing anyone. I'm saying that you're in a position to do something and you're not doing it. You know what? It's chicken shit. And if you believe it and you're not saying it, it's worse than chicken shit.